how do you make something like this out of something like this?
He's got the spirit of a handyman. A handyman.
I forget where exactly I first heard about this wood burning method, but I decided it would be right for this table because this is a pine wood table, and pine you have to put some kind of pine treatment on, and then you stain it, and then you have to seal it. So I thought it might be cooler to go with this process instead. Relatively safe, and the wood is fairly cool to touch within a little bit. As you can see, it's basically the same process as using a spray paint, except if you leave the spray on too long, if you leave the torch on there, it will end up charring the whole thing. But the process looked pretty good. One thing I didn't expect is that all of the raised patterns on your table will appear because of these burn marks. So this particular wood, I don't know what caused this, but for whatever reason, when it was run on the mill, it has these grooves, and so that appears. So for the most part, it turned out pretty good, but then you come across some imperfection in the wood, and it looks like that. Therefore, I went through, and I'm going through to sand away all of these weird bump marks so that all that's left is just a nice clean look. So I'm going to go ahead and sand away some of these raised marks, lest that happen up here. I should have seen that coming, but I didn't. Learned my lesson. Go ahead and prepare your surface ahead of time, and it will save you a little bit of work in the long run. I just used an orbital sander to go ahead and buff out any imperfections that were in the wood. Again, these were grade B pieces of lumber, which means they were a little bit cheaper, but I needed to have sanded those down. So here I am going over some of those raised bumps because it ended up leaving like a waffle pattern as the torch went over that. Then it was back to torching the design in. I ended up going over a couple places twice. If it got a little too dark or if there still was a texture that I didn't like, I simply took the sander out, sanded it down, brought the torch back out, and burnt the new pattern in. Every time, the torch just brings out the grain of the wood. And as you can see, I think this is a really beautiful finished product. This table here is untreated pine lumber, and you can go as dark as you want, burning in a more charred look. You can go lighter if you want. Either way, I think it looks really gorgeous. This table was made out of treated pine, and it burned a little different, looks just slightly different. I went over both of them with Thompson's water sealer just to preserve and protect that look, and I'll probably touch it up about once a year just to keep them watertight and sealed. Hey, thanks for watching. Hopefully you learned something about how to do this process, and more importantly, you feel empowered to take on this project by yourself. Like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time on Spirit of a Handyman.